There is something sexy recording us today, fellas. I'm just going to put my hands up. Let's go, boy. Finally. I'm grunting because that was the first time I think we really hit it on the dot in like a goddamn month and a half. What's up, everybody? We got a new camera. It's the All Day Everyday Show with All Day AJ and the homie Manny Ruffin. God, new camera, Canon T8i. Ooh, as always, powered by Dimers. And thank you to Dimers for helping us get our first big boy purchase out of this Canon. We have a new vlogging camera right there that's now you're seeing on this wide shot. And, dude, it's just cool to look at a real camera. I don't know if you guys know. We'll leak some secrets right now, but we record most of these podcasts on phones. So, which is not a bad thing. Hustlers, but it's not a bad thing. You see the phones, the cameras for these, for the commercials for these phones.
You wouldn't be able to tell if you didn't know.
What I mean? Exactly. So, really cool there, and we'll be able to use that for not only streaming, vlogging, for our trips coming up. We'll make another announcement. We've announced it already, but we'll make another announcement, probably either the reaction show or the next podcast, just on another update on that once we're officially booked and going. But I think Twin Spires is over.
It might be.
The first 6 weeks is over, weeks. So that 6 weeks is over. So what I will do for the beginning of this show is head over to Bet Rivers Casino. Sir. The first time we can say Bet Rivers.
Something new.
So the other thing about this, our landing page, we can interchange, through the help of Dimers, we can interchange different sports books that can help you guys get onto different promotions. So the promotion for Bet Rivers on our landing page, www.dimers.com/ADED, is a $250 deposit match. So it's up to $250. So if you want to put $20 into Bet Rivers on our landing page, they'll match it and they'll put in another $20. So you have $40 in your account. You can do that from $30, $10, even $5, all the way up to $250. So if you guys have a shitload of money at hand and you want to throw $250 in at sign up for deposit, you'll have $500 in your account.
Hey now.
So
we can gamble with that.
If you want to do that, guys, as always, always bet responsibly. Okay, though, we have a show to do. We got NHL and NBA. Manny, lay it out. What do we got?
All right, baby. So we got a big show today. You already know, before we get into seasons, we like to do a little prediction show. Mm-hmm. So we have our NBA predictions. We'll have MVP, Rookie of the Year, and our champion. Then we'll slide over to some NHL. I have some hot takes, some interesting hot takes, as Alex is flexing his Zuccarello Winter Classic jersey. That thing is sexy.
Yeah, man. It's a shame he's gone, but
we're going to get into our little NHL predictions. I'm going to have Alex go over who he likes to win, and I'm also going to throw my hot takes at him. And we also have some things I want to talk to you about right now, Alex. So last night you had some bets on that Monday Night Football game. We seen Josh Allen take a leap of faith. You almost get a first down to cash your rushing prop, but you also needed the Bills to cover a 2.5 spread, and you couldn't get it. What did you think about that play call on 4th and 1? Did Josh Allen slip? Did he get stuffed? What about that kick return that got called back? How do you feel one day removed from that loss?
So I definitely love the play call, and a lot of the I think most people like the play call.
Gotta do it. Josh Allen's 6'5".
I heard Louis Riddick on the broadcast on ESPN last night saying, I really love the aggressive call from Sean McDermott. It is the right play. He almost just lined up everybody in the stadium watching, everybody at home knew he was going to do that.
Right.
I mean, he had his back foot positioned in a running stance when he's taking the snap. So you know he's going to take it and lunge forward. And unfortunately, he just got caught up against his center, and he keeps, as a good running back does, even though he's a quarterback, you're chugging those legs, right? You keep moving those legs. So he does that, but he gets caught up on I think it was his right toe, and he just slips and his knee goes
also
down.
Kind of got stuffed too. You got to give some credit to the Titans for making a good goal line or good red zone stop. I think they did that twice that game before that too. I think they got down there and they didn't score 7. So
I was thinking about it after.
Got to give him some credit.
I was thinking about it after, and I was like, dude, what if he just did he lined up in the running stance like he was, snapped the ball and did a lunge forward,
or jump for that,
and then step back, floated to Dawson Knox in the end zone.
That's ballsy.
I feel but who knows to do that?
It was already ballsy enough.
You know?
But I'm still confused. Why on this show I sat here and told you. You asked who do we like for this Monday Night Football game? I said is Titans +6 or no bet.
Yep.
I don't think the Titans should have covered that spread. There were some things going on in that game that were unfortunate for the Bills. But like I said, I think I seen a messy game going on, and I think the Titans are going to cover that spread.
And we talked about this on the reaction show, and you guys can go check that out on the YouTube page for Week 6 if you haven't already. But all I said was there's no reason that the Bills should not cover a touchdown, because that's what it is. It's a touchdown and an extra point. There's no reason that they should not win that. I mean, how the hell are they covering? They're covering 6 against the Chiefs. How can they cover 6 against the Titans?
It's a different situation, man.
So I think part of it was when Taylor Lewin went down. and carted off the field. Obviously,
up
prayers up for Taylor. I know he wanted to have a big season, and all the hate that he received after those first couple games when Chandler Jones kind of embarrassed him, exposed him. So he wanted to obviously show out and show that he was prepared for the season. But I remember watching that, and they did a close up on Derrick Henry's face, and he was just like kind of just shocked. He's like shaking his head, obviously so. And I'm like, okay. Well, there's no reason the Titans lose this game now. And then Josh Allen comes out. He does his thing. They go up by a little bit. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We're good. And then obviously a 4th and 1 stop, 4th and goal.
Something I'll say about Josh Allen is I'm really impressed with his ability. And we knew he had it when he first came to the league because he saw the big arm, but the accuracy wasn't there. And now he's tying that together. He made a big throw in their 2 minutes to Emmanuel Sanders with a little back shoulder. And that's like, I'm just seeing that like the growth for Josh Allen the last 3 years has been crazy. Because the first year was like, all right, this dude's an athlete. We don't know if he can play quarterback though. Second year, we're like, oh, okay, Josh Allen. And third year, we were like, okay, Josh Allen, this is a guy.
Know it, bro. You know it.
His growth has been fun to watch. But another question I have for you. Aaron Boone is back in the Bronx.
Back in the building.
You said he was going to be out. He's back in. 3-year deal. What are your thoughts? Do you think Boone brings a World Series back to the Bronx, or is this a bad signing? What do you think about this?
We discussed this, I think it was either a week ago or 2 weeks ago on that podcast, and I said that I was a Boone backer for the entire year. And I was. A lot of people, and I've said this already, but a lot of people were in much disagreement with some of the calls that he made in his lineup. And obviously having a beat up lineup and an injured lineup consistently for the second year in a row is tough to go around, but there's things you can do. So you get in 4 seasons, right? And they haven't reached a conference series with Boone. And why is that? Because the Astros have not won 1 in a row, not 2 in a row, not 3 in a row, not 4 in a row, but 5 ALCS appearances.
And they also know what pitch you're going to throw at home.
That's right. So I don't know. I remember saying when the season ended that I would like to see him go, just because. I mean, what else? What more do we need to see? Right? What does Brian Cashman? What does Hal Steinbrenner? What do they want to see that they haven't already? How can you have this lineup and still not be able to put yourselves in a position to win the World Series?
Well, then here's the argument with devil's advocate, because you have the COVID year, and you're going to obviously give him somewhat of a pass for that. Then this year, you're going to have, I mean, like Yankees fans will say, plethora of injuries. The COVID list was still a very prevalent thing for you guys all year. So it's okay. Let's see what he does in the season that is regular, per se.
Right. And that's when you have a lineup like this.
But a 3-year contract is different than giving him a year.
Exactly. So 3 years, the option of 2025. The other thing to take note of here is Boone was pretty much safe after they cleaned house for the rest of the coaching staff. So you knew it was either one or the other. It was going to be the team of coaches or Boone. And once the report of kind of cleaning the house for the rest of the staff, it was, all right, so we're just going to give Boone a new staff and see what he's able to do next year. The other stat I wanted to talk about here is the last time a Yankees manager was allowed to manage a 5th season without having won a World Series was 1922.
I mean, come on. We were in trench warfare.
What?
We were in trench warfare back then.
What? That was 77 years before our time. What? We were looking at this stat before we got going. I'm like, dude, I did not fucking know that. I mean, are we serious? What? So
one thing I'll say that's cool about Boone being back is it's not really a rivalry, but kind of a relationship between Cora and Boone. And obviously, Cora's going to be in Boston for a little bit, obviously, after they win the World Series this year. I hate to say it to you. But that might even add a little bit more pressure to Boone. Be like, hey, the Red Sox are out here winning World Series. The Rays, people think that's the team for the next 3, 4, 5 years. We need to do something. We need to do something now because Yankees fans are not happy with the situation right now. I'm interested to see how this plays out. I think I can almost guarantee they'll get to a CS. I can't guarantee a World Series, though. I mean, that lineup, they'll get to a CS. I mean, the Green Monster's not a thing. They're probably in there.
That's true. But I just don't... I mean, you can't. It is just making me itch because I'm like, you can't. That's the excuses that everyone's gonna say. Exactly. Oh, well, they shouldn't have been in there then. They should have had the home game, right? Facts. I mean, you lose 7 in a row after winning 13 in a row. Facts. That's on you. But okay, wherever we want to go, I'm done with them. I'm done with them. But that was something we had to say. So we can put the Yankees to rest, and then we'll kind of just recap the rest of this CS series in the coming weeks, and then for what's in store for the World Series. All right, so where do we want to go? We want to go NBA?
NBA, baby. Let's get to it. Opening night tonight. Have our predictions ready to go. First thing I'll start is congrats to the Bucks one more time for winning the championship. Something crazy out there.
Because they're not doing it again.
Really?
That's why he's saying that.
And that's what I was getting to. Shout out to the Suns, too, because you guys also made it to the finals, which was good for you guys. Hope it tasted good. Ooh, you won't see it for a little bit. Let's get to our MVPs, though. So for my MVP, this is a little bit of a hot take. People are probably going to disagree with it. You're expecting me to say a little Embiid because I'm a Sixers fan. Maybe you're expecting me to say KD because the whole Kyrie situation is looking good for an MVP. I'm going to go with Jason Tatum. You're all probably like, what? Tatum? Especially after the year that Boston had, because team success ties into winning the MVP. But this is what I'll say. Tatum's coming off a year where he had a career high in points, assists, and rebounds. Had probably his best playoff series, or maybe his second best playoff series versus Nets. Obviously, they lost in 5, but I mean, you're playing the fucking Nets, and after the year they had. New coach in Boston. Brad Stevens moves into the front office. They bring in Udoka and as a coach. I think that's big for him. He was an assistant for the Nets. I think he was an assistant for the Sixers for a little bit as well. Dealt with stars before. Gonna have him and Jaylen Brown mixing things up. I think Tatum takes that step forward as like the clear-cut leader to that team. It's been a question sometimes, but it's Jason fucking Tatum. He's the leader of that team. They also bring in Schroeder, and they bring in what was it? They brought in Schroeder and someone else. They brought in a couple pieces that, because their bench last year was so young and not polished, and that is another reason why they lost so many games. They also weren't healthy that much last year either. But I don't think you see the Celtics be a 7 seed again, honestly. I think the Celtics are a 4 seed, 3 seed team. If Tatum can get that team to elevate to a 2 seed, 1 seed kind of deal, average like 28, 7, I think he can win it. I honestly, I don't, the narrative argument pushes for him, obviously with being in Boston, new coach and everything going on there. I could easily see Tatum win this award. People, and you can get him at plus 2,500 right now. Obviously,
or the sprinkle. You could
see better options, but I see the value there. Kind of have an underdog mentality there as well. He wants to be a legend in Boston. I could see something happening this year with Tatum in Boston. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Luka on this one. Jason Kidd breaking this guy out of the shell.
It's a good pick.
Making him more of a, and I think is that chalky? Not necessarily.
Only thing with Luka that scares me is like what I said about, because I wanted to pick Dame too so bad, but it's like team success. Like,
yep.
I seen a stat. It was like, I forget what it was, but Jokic and Russ have been the first two to win MVP after not being a top 2 seed in their conference in like a long time. So like,
yeah,
team
and
success,
I mean, I don't know. I just hate. I don't like that argument because it's like
me neither.
It's most valuable player.
Right.
But then the argument to that is, well, he's most valuable to his team to help them get into a top 3 seed, and that's the argument there. But I don't like. But I don't think Luka's chalky, because I think a lot of people could be sitting here and getting on the sleepy side of things and picking Trae Young.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw, but Woj bomb from last night, Kevin Huerter signing that 4-year, $65 million extension. So drippy splash.
Let's
3-point
go, Kev.
is back. And but yeah, so I don't think that's that chalky. I think Luke is ready to kind of come out of his shell again. I think it's time to do what Dame does. It's you take over. I think that's what it is. I think it's a little bit. Sometimes we see he's a little bit too conservative. Sometimes maybe a little. His thought process in executing is not always there. But I think this is the year for it.
You take in fact of his usage rate and the numbers he has to put up in Dallas to really get wins like that. I mean, it's hard to do that night in, night out.
Dallas is basically forcing him to be an MVP.
Right.
Because of what they need from him.
Exactly.
So if you can kind of get him out of the mindset of, I need to do this, I need to do that, and just let him go. I'm not saying he's doing that.
I think something that will really help him this year, obviously, if KP wants to step up and play some basketball for a full season, that will help.
That's true.
But back to Tatum, one thing I'll say is last year people sleep on the fact that he was 6th in defensive rating as well. And people have, in his career, I've noticed that people have tied in Tatum just to be an offensive player, that he doesn't contribute on the defensive side of the ball, which is just completely false. He's competed on the defensive side of the ball since his rookie season. I mean, he played for Coach K and Duke. He's not going to not play defense. Let's be honest here. But I cannot stress it enough. The Celtics won't be that bad. Tatum is Jason Tatum. He might average 30 this year with Udoka as his coach because he knows how to use stars. I think Tatum's the play. We'll come back to it. I can guarantee he'll be in top 3 voting. I can guarantee he'll be top 3.
Top 3 voting. All right, let's move on. So, do you want to go Rookie of the Year? Do you want to go? You want to go? Let's say
the Chip for last. I'll go Rookie of the Year.
Okay, go ahead.
So for my Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go with Jalen Green. Now, so on some books, I've seen Jalen Green grow as the favorite now, which is, I mean, not crazy, but the reason I'm going with Jalen Green is the sole fact that I think he's going to be more used to the NBA play style than Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham obviously had to play in college last year, but he's incredible. Like, he might be an all-star this year. Mm-hmm. But Jalen Green, with having that G League experience last year, I mean, he's playing against NBA vets and people who are trying to break into the league, going full throttle every night. And he's playing in an NBA style offense. He's going to be more used to it right away than I think Cade Cunningham will be. Also with the Rockets, I mean, the shots are going to be there for him. Christian Wood was their leading scorer last year, but I mean, Christian was a good player. I'm just saying, the chances are going to be there for someone to also emerge as that scorer with Christian Wood. I mean, Jalen Green can score from all three facets of the game. His three-point shooting is improving. Last year in the G League, he shot, I think it was 36%, but that shows you at 19 years old, if he can just keep raising that percentage by a point or two each year, he'll be a 40-point three-point shooter soon. Uber athletic. Jump out the fucking gym. Has that swag to him. Swaggy dude. So, that helps the vote a little bit. In my opinion, it helped LaMelo out a little bit last year because I think Anthony Edwards should have low-key won that award. But the flash and the highlights, that'll help as well. I think Jalen Green's a real good look for Rookie of the Year. I think he's a good player, man.
I will say I'm going to go chalk here, and I'm going to go Cade Cunningham. And why? I'm kind of following that same tandem that I did with Luka is about what I said about forcing him to be an MVP.
Right.
You're forcing Cade Cunningham to be that number one guy.
Right.
Because he's drafted, and that's just with all great players, they get drafted to shitty teams. So you're playing on the shitty Detroit Pistons, right? You have to be good. I don't see how you can, take him off of that category of, let me change the odds because he's going to have too much on his plate. I don't think so. I don't think so one bit. I'm so excited to see this young gun play. I mean, really, like watching him in this tournament last year. He loves the pressure, and now he has to have the pressure because I'm on a really shitty team. I'm as young as I am, and I have to pretty much lead this team to some type of wins. I would love to see what the over-under is for wins for these Pistons because I would like to see what it is so I can possibly take it.
Cade's a really good pick because he has that length to him. He'll play defense as well, and he can facilitate. I think that's one of the most slept-on parts of his game, that motherfucker can pass the ball, and he can shoot from 40, 35. He's obviously a good pick. I also think that little narrative with Jalen Green going 2, Cade Cunningham number 1.
People are going to have that
Jalen Green might have that chip on his shoulder
really.
for a little bit. One sleeper pick I like, though, for Rookie of the Year is Ev Mobley out in Cleveland.
I knew you were going to say
that. Kid's a player, bro. I mean, you see him, you think, okay, I got a typical 7-foot big man. He's going to rebound. He's going to block shots. He can dribble. He can shoot. He can pass. That kid's a player.
It's kind of the same thing we said about Wiggins, too. And he's turning into that two-way player as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think Mobley's a good look out in Cleveland. Just the kind of the situation out there. The reason why I didn't want to pick him for Rookie of the Year is because I like Colin Sexton, but he has a habit of just holding on to the ball for a long time during games. So sometimes Mobley might not get the looks, but I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I just like Jalen Green more. I think he's in a better situation to get Rookie of the Year over at Mobley right now. So we'll see how that plays out, though. I think he's a good look.
Yeah, I like I do like the rookie class from this year. I remember when we did the NFL.
Definitely want to give. I can't believe I didn't write this down. I remember on draft night, you were like, "Why did the Raptors pick Scotty Barnes over Jalen Suggs?" And you see in the preseason, Scotty Barnes playing some good ball in the preseason. That's also a good look. I was gonna pull the trigger on that, but I'm kind of slow-footed on that because I don't think he's gonna have that kind of flash factor, that kind of wow factor.
You brought up Suggs.
A really fucking solid basketball player that I think we need to watch for over his career as well.
And you just brought up Jalen Suggs, and there's been, ever since the draft, a lot of people sleeping on this man.
Yeah.
Just because of...
I mean, he's had a tough preseason. I mean, he's shot 27...
it's going to be a different role.
Preseason, he shot 27% from three. I mean, so people are kind of having that question, is he adjusting to the length of the shot?
It's exactly what it is.
I think it's going to be a big adjustment year for Jalen Suggs. I don't think you're going to see him break out this year. You'll see that he's a good fucking player, but I don't think he's going to break out necessarily.
All right, move on. Let's go. Where do you want to go next?
NBA champions.
All right. So
I will say this pick's gonna hurt.
Before you go. So the Nets are favored to win the title. I'll say this to start this. The Nets are favored to win, but an article from ESPN from David Purdom is saying that bettors are backing the Lakers, even though the Nets are favored. So I'll just leave that there.
Well, obviously Kyrie being Kyrie right now has a lot to do with that. You just don't know what you're going to get from him. I mean, I appreciate him staying on what he stands for, honestly. Whether I agree or not, I don't really, but he's standing on what he stands on. I got to salute him for that. That whole situation going on, it's hard to back the Nets right now. My pick is the Lakers. I'm with the smart bettors. It hurts me to say this because, I mean, it's it's not a. I hate being obvious. I really do hate being obvious. I like finding different angles. But this year, it seems like it's gonna be the Lakers' years. Obviously, with the whole thing going on with the Nets, they're not gonna be a non-factor, but they're obviously just not as strong without Kyrie. They're still gonna be a problem. You bring in Russ, you bring in Melo, you bring in Malik Monk. I like Wayne Ellington, even though he's out tonight, because one big thing with them last year is that they couldn't shoot the 3-ball when it mattered. Got a couple shooters in there. I think Melo's gonna have a really good year with no pressure, a lot of confidence playing with his boy. This year they finally get some rest. God damn it! I mean, the year after they won the chip, they had 71 days of rest. I think they have 122 this year, which is big for them. Bron coming off an injury, AD coming off of 2 injuries. I think it's opening up for the Lakers. It's going to be kind of a gauntlet coming out of that West Conference. You got Jamal Murray coming back with the Nuggets. Obviously, the Suns are there. Obviously, got the Warriors back. I mean, Clay's coming back this year. It's going to be a gauntlet getting out of the West. I think they can do it. If they and honestly, I think it's one of those years where people are sleeping on Bron. I looked at his MVP odds. It's like plus 1,600 for Bron. You kidding me?
I gotta be different.
I honestly think it's one of those years where people are gonna be reminded, like, and honestly, it might be Melo's last hurrah. You don't know how many crazy years you got left of LeBron. Like, he's probably gonna have a little more motivation to get his boy a chip. Russ is coming in, more motivation to get his boy a chip. I think you might see a hungry Lakers team come out this year. They are a little on the older side. I think they are the oldest team in the NBA. So that might, some wear and tear, full 82-game season. I just can't see another team topping this Lakers team, honestly.
Yeah, and we had the same argument when we saw the Dodgers and they made those moves with Trey Turner and Max Scherzer, right? And we were like, how can you, after seeing this, how can you not pick them to win the World Series?
Right.
We're in that same boat here with the Lakers, right? Melo's there, and one of his quotes that he said when asked the question of, have you always wanted to play with LeBron? Did you ever know it was going to happen? He was like, the stars kind of align, and it's kind of, we're both getting towards the end of our careers. It's now, the time is now. If we're going to do it, we have to do it now. So you get that veteran look there. Obviously, it's going to be cool to see those guys and the chemistry there. Obviously, the addition of Russ, like you stated. But I just can't. I have to be different. So I have to pick the Warriors.
Wow.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Wow.
1 second. 1 second. All right. These guys have went through so much with Clay not being there the past 2 seasons that I'm putting a lot of faith and a lot of money and into Klay Thompson this season. Seriously. I think it was just brutally unfair to see him come back and go down again. The setbacks, we've, like I mentioned before, Andrew Wiggins, and we've been able to see how he's developed into this two-way player. I'm excited to see this team play out of the West, and like you said, it's going to be a dog fight out of this Western Conference. DeAndre Ayton and his talks with the Suns.
He was wild today, by the way.
In contract extensions talks after his rookie deal, those have faded. So I don't know what that's going to mean for DeAndre Ayton. Maybe though he wanted a 5-year max deal. So this dogfight of the Western Conference. As of recent years, we've been able to say Western Conference has been, I would like to say, better than the Eastern Conference.
Hold the phone on that. But wow.
But yeah.
The Golden State fucking Warriors.
But yeah.
I kind of like it.
But yeah.
I listen, and they're not going to win the championship, guys. Okay. Now you can come back and burn me if they did win the championship or they get there. Even if they get there, I'll be like, holy shit, the Warriors. But look at this. Steph Curry had an MVP season last year. Klay Thompson is coming back with something to prove. Andrew Wiggins is playing better basketball every year he's been with the Warriors, emerging as a great two-way player that we thought he was going to be. Jordan Poole's probably going to win Most Improved Player this year, maybe even 6th Man of the Year. Probably not. Draymond's still Draymond. It's a look. If they catch, I'll say this, they'll have to catch fire, and it's going to really depend on what they look like when Klay comes back. That'll be the deciding factor. If they come back and they're Splash Brothers again, Steph Curry looks really good during preseason. It's a good look. That was not the long shot I was expecting you to go for. I was expecting to maybe hear a little Knicks love or something.
No, my hot take for the Knicks this season though.
Little Bucks back to back, the Warriors.
No, it's definitely, I don't see a Bucks back to back, but I will say my hot take for the Knicks this year is they will win a playoff series.
Okay.
I'm not saying they're going to go and win 2. That's foreshadowing.
Okay.
But like that. But I will say they will win 1 series. They'll
one thing I'll say about NBA this year, and listen, everyone knows that Dane's my guy. I do look for the Portland Trail Blazers to be a top 5 seed in the West this year, maybe even 4. I just think CJ had a really rough year last year. I don't know what necessarily was going on there. It just wasn't the CJ type of year. I think he comes back, plays well. Obviously, we had full. I guess is it full capacity for fans back? It's just as normal as it's been in a long time.
It's right.
And you see the Trailblazers before things we got all wacky with the COVID and shit like that. The Portland Trailblazers were there. I mean, they made the Western Conference Finals. They lost the Warriors. They were winning playoff series before. I think this is the year you see the Trailblazers really, really compete again. People are like, oh shit, here's Damian Lillard and here's CJ McCollum again. They do have some struggles with depth, but I think they'll be fine. Anthony Simmons is another guy for them that I think is gonna have a big year, a little breakout year. But look out for the Trailblazers this year.
Yep. So those are, I guess, preseason picks.
Yep.
I'm not using preseason in that actual term, but before the season starts tonight, as we're recording Tuesday, October 19th, that's our finals picks, that's our MVP picks, and that's our Rookie of the Year picks. Now, let's head over to NHL. As we all know, it started last week. Last Tuesday was the first games, and the Lightning with their banner night and the big ceremony, just getting the doors knocked off and the doors kicked in by the banged up Pittsburgh Penguins. But definitely a really wacky start to this season. The chalky picks that were expected. Again, I'm not saying this like we saw 20 games so far. We've seen maybe 3 to 4. Some teams have still played 2 games.
Well, we did see the Penguins take down the Lightning 6-2.
That's what I mean. So a lot of these chalky picks have so far not really played out in these first couple games. And obviously, again, it's 82 games. Mm-hmm. But let's hear what you got.
So I do have some hot takes for Alex. I want to hear his reaction to a couple of these. We'll start with the first one. So the Maple Leafs are trying to break a curse, win a fucking playoff series. My hot take is, though, not that they'll win 1 playoff series, the Maple Leafs will win at least 2 playoff series this year.
Yeah, I do. I understand that because of blowing that lead. I mean, it's like we can compare that to LeBron and the Warriors, right? It's literally the same thing that Montreal did to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Realistically, this is the same point that you just made with the Warriors, right? Realistically, 2 series, I don't see that happening. Possibly could it? They have a really, really good team right now.
Yeah, and a really fucking good player.
Could that happen?
That if he gets hot
100%,
series, you never know.
100%. But I just don't see it happening. There's a lot of other guys in that Atlantic conference that can really,
that conference is kind of stacked this year, huh?
So, you have another hot take from that as well. But I see it being 1. Just like I said with the Knicks. They'll get in, they'll win 1, and they'll lose. I don't know who, matchup-wise, who it'll end up being. Will they face the Lightning there? Will they face the Panthers there? Could they end up being? Could the Capitals sneak into a wild card seed and being the number 2 seed? Could the Rangers sneak into a wild card 2 seed and then Toronto's number 1, so they'd go play each other? You know what I mean? I don't know how the seedings are going to work. They could play somebody from the Metro instead of somebody from the Atlantic, but yeah, I like it, but it's just not. I don't think
you don't see 2. You see 1 though?
I see 1. Yeah.
Okay.
How can you not say 1, right?
Yeah.
For our NHL guys, how can you not see 1?
I think they're a top 5, 6, 7 team in hockey right now.
They are, and I don't see how you can't. How you can watch them last year blow that 3-1 lead and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna go there and we're not even gonna make a play this year.
Yeah, okay.
Or we're gonna lose 1 series. They have to go in there and win 1. Just logically.
Please, for the fans, for Austin Matthews, can we just please win 1?
For Tavares, it's common sense. Right?
Please.
It's common sense. All right, what else we got on that page?
So the next one, this is kind of, I guess, I would say maybe a warmer take right now. But if I would have had this take about 5, 6, 7 weeks ago, it might be a little hotter. Got some good young players, got some nice little vet pieces in there. But my hot take right now is the Red Wings will make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, so this was one of the worst teams in the NHL last season, and like you said, they did make a good amount of moves to kind of develop and get them ready for this season. And we've seen the history of the Red Wings and how good they've been. Mm-hmm. And the past couple seasons, when they were in contention, and we've seen past maybe 3-4 years where it's like, well, that's it.
Yeah,
this team sucks.
Bad.
I don't know if I see them making the playoffs. I see a major turnaround from last season. I think what's even easier to say is that what I'll say is the Red Wings will have a winning season this year.
Okay.
I'll say that. I think that's something that's a little bit different.
I think the Red Wings are one of those teams too. Like I always have those teams in sports where I say that like the sport's better when they're good. I'm pretty sure the Red Wings are one of those teams you would classify like the sport's just better when they're good. You probably even put the Rangers in there, put the Bruins in there, but they're always good. I feel like it's good to see Detroit good. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. And I mean, you look at that I think they're really the ones that have to do it.
Yeah.
Because the Lions aren't. And Cade Cunningham can't carry this damn Pistons team.
For Detroit, man.
So Detroit has to do it. All right.
Fuck Tigers. I mean, come on,
I mean, the
guys.
Tigers, really?
Next hot take. I think this is stock's going down. This hot take right now, or maybe not. I don't know. It depends how you feel. But the Islanders will ascend to the top of the Eastern Conference this year and take the crown from Tampa Bay.
Judging by the start of this season, I would love to say that, but this powerhouse team of this Tampa Bay
And they
Lightning-
lost some pieces.
Yeah, they lost Tyler
Expansion
Johnson.
draft kind of hurt them too.
Yep, they lost Tyler Johnson to the Blackhawks. Expansion draft obviously hurt them a little bit, but I still do think that this team is just top notch. I mean, I really do. I don't see them just losing this crown.
What do you see? What do you see as more possible? The Islanders finishing at 1 or Tampa Bay not finishing at 1? If that makes sense.
That's a good question. I think I would probably see. Oh, that's tough because because what I will say,
because Tampa Bay. If you're saying Tampa Bay not to finish 1, then you have to put someone else in that one spot. But I mean, a couple teams.
I would honestly, I'd probably say Tampa to finish not in 1.
Okay.
And then, I mean, but look, there was a
It's hell of a
dogfight.
run, bro.
That series last season was a
Facts.
dogfight between the Islanders, and they just came up short. And that's the second year that they've come up short again. So it's something to take note of and look into this season on if Tampa Bay if they're not going to do this three-peat.
Right.
And judging by these first few games for them, Kucherov's a little banged up right now. Can they? I mean, again, it's a long season, but
A little bit of a
starting
hangover,
off shaky,
maybe?
Seriously, a little bit of a hangover. Starting off shaky after a repeat is obviously not the momentum that you want to take into the next season.
Right. So we have one more.
Okay.
The last and final hot take. I'm going back to Florida. The Panthers will be the best team in Florida this year and win their first cup.
Oh, those are your cup picks. Mm-hmm. Oh shit, I wouldn't pick them to win the cup, but dude, this team has just emerged. I mean, I don't know where the hell these guys came
And
from.
that's why I'm saying they might win their first cup. Hockey's one of those
seasons.
things where teams when their stock goes up, bro, you gotta hit that
You'd
bitch.
say I'd even give them 2 to 3 years these past few that these Panthers have just come out of nowhere.
They got some great names on that team.
I remember, I forget when it was. It might have been 2 winters ago, or I think it was 2 winters ago. I don't think it was 3, but I think it was 2 winters ago. And I'm looking, I'm like, where the hell did the Panthers come from? What is this team right now? So it's definitely plausible. I really think that the Panthers will be the best team in Florida.
Okay.
They were right there last year. They really were. So I'm in agreement here with the Panthers. I absolutely love this team. And it's good to see a team that was so shitty. I mean, for so many years, it was always, well, Tampa's not that good really, that either. And then Tampa goes up on this, like you said, stock, bang, they're through the roof. And then Florida's like, all right, no, we're here, we're coming. So I think
saw the same thing with Vegas kind of too, but
Yep.
I mean that's a little shaky and there's some things in there. But
Right.
different than the Panthers. But I'm just saying when it comes to teams, like you see when they catch fire real quick, it's like, all right, we got to hit right now. Like if the Islanders would have won that series last year, that'd have been a team that like if they won the cup, it's like, yeah, we're hitting our shit right now.
I am my pick for this cup. I don't know. I mean, you look at this Western Conference, right? You got your Blues, you got your Avalanche. You can kind of sprinkle in your Oilers, maybe even your Jets, and possibly this year throw in your Ducks, at least to make playoffs. But this might be chalky, but it's the Colorado Avalanche. There is no offense that is better than this team. Nobody can stop this offense. I mean, it is just so fun to watch this team. They are so fast-paced on the ice. They control their forecheck. They are just so confident and in control. They maintain the game when they play. And it started off early in their first game of the season, scoring 3 in the first period in a matter of 10 minutes. So this is the team that is, I think, the strongest in the NHL right now, built and backed by everybody there. And they look like what everybody was talking about the Lightning in these past 2 seasons. They are the strongest team. Nobody can beat them. Finally, we get to say this about Colorado, who again is just like in this category of Florida. They have been yet to kind of emerge. They've started to kind of make this come up and this climb through the stock market, and we're able to see it. So I'm so excited to watch this Colorado team. And you never know, we can easily get our asses out there to go watch the little Avs game because I went to, and like I said, I've said this before in this podcast, but I went to a Tampa Bay Lightning Flyers game 2 winters ago in Tampa, and it was when Tampa was the best team in the league by far. And I remember saying on the show, the atmosphere is like no other when the team on the ice knows they're the best in the league, and everybody in the damn arena knows that they're the best in the league. It's just so fun. It's a different atmosphere. So I easily have to say Colorado. Can the Blues kind of come back? Maybe a little bit. I think they'll make it, but I don't see anything special out of them. The only other team that I would look to have a bounce back is the Oilers. They came up short. So did the Jets in the playoffs last year. So got to give some kind of pay some homage to Connor McDavid for sticking around when this team was so shitty. Got to pay some homage and go win some playoff series. That's all it is.
One thing I'll ask too about our teams: do you see either one of the two making the playoffs? Maybe both.
So I see the Rangers making the playoffs this year. It's been 2 years since they haven't. I see them making it. They got a good coaching change. David Quinn, who was a former coach at Boston College, came over last year, and then his time is done. They got the former Vegas coach who had a very, very pristine record with Vegas for the 2017 and 2018 season. It was 117 and 84, something like that. So I really like that addition. Again, this is a team that knows we have to make we had Quinn for barely more than a season. So to look at this moves from the front office, oh, the coach is the problem.
Right.
Okay. Or maybe the coach isn't the problem. We have to make a change. This didn't work out. That's fine. We tried it. It didn't work. Let's move on. So it's just funny how the Rangers were able to make that adjustment. And we look at the Yankees and it's like, oh, no, you know what? 4 years in a row, can't make a CS. You know what, Aaron Boone? We'll try again. Here's 3 more. We'll pay a shitload too. Here's 3 more. You're fine. We'll give you the option for 2025 so you can get the hell out when there's still no World Series. All right? That's fine.
Hey, man, you gotta be a little more optimistic.
I'm gonna be, but it's just it's odd how one team is making some smarter front office moves. But I do think the Rangers are a possibility to sneak into that wild card spot. They had a chance last year and it just fell short. They climbed back, kind of like what the Yankees were doing. And they climbed back to get that wild card spot and just fell short. The Flyers, however, I do think they will make it.
I was going to say, okay.
I do think they will make it. Carter Hart had some struggles last year that everybody and their moms knew about, and that was all on the defense. So what did they do? Ryan Ellis got him from Nashville. Great defensive key mind.
Scored last night too.
Yep, great defensive mind. What did they do? They needed help on defense, and they did just that. So look for the Flyers. Obviously, they had a great chance to make the playoffs last year. And they tanked. You know, we have comparisons like the Red Sox toward the end of the season. We have comparisons like the Las Vegas Raiders at the end of the year. And the Flyers did just that last season. So I do like the Flyers to make the playoffs. I think the Rangers might stick into the in a wild card spot. But I would like to lock that in and see where that happens.
Help me out a little bit here too, because that
games.
Ryan Ellis signing that helps Provy a lot too, be able to be a little more of a playmaker instead of sitting back because his defense was so bad.
You have a little bit more
year.
of a veteran mind too, and you have a lot of young guns on that defensive side for the Flyers. So to have a veteran come in and be like, okay, look, here's how it's going to go. This is, it's all the veteran stuff that everybody says in sports. So it's definitely a great addition. It was the smartest move they could have made. So I'm excited to see this.
I'll say this about the Fly guys. I think it was about a year ago or 2 years ago. I can't remember exactly, but it was right before COVID.
Yeah,
literally, it was regular. Like season was regular. I went to the game. We went to play. The Boston Bruins are March 11th. The Bruins were the best team in hockey at that point. Mm-hmm. The Flyers won. COVID hit. Lost the playoff series. And then the next year, I think. Oh my God, I can't exactly remember, but just ever since that year, we were right there.
Yep,
we were right there. Beat the Bruins. COVID hits. Literally, I think the next day they say, "All right, no more fans, all that shit." I think we'll see things go back to normal. Flyers go back up.
I'm very, very confident in Carter Hart this year. He lost, and speaking of,
I think it was just tough for him last year. He's
much confidence.
He's a young dude. He was already struggling. Then after all the struggles, he has to go home and sit there by himself. Yeah. I mean, it's just it's tough.
He's a very, like you said, he's a very young dude. So to go through that is tough.
Yeah.
A lot of people might be saying, why are you not mentioning the Pittsburgh Penguins? Why are you not mentioning the Boston Bruins? Penguins, again, there's plenty of spots to make, right? Are the Capitals in there, right? So you have five that are going to make it.
Penguins are definitely a big question because they're playing this way right now, not fully healthy. I mean,
and Washington's is could be in there too. But I we are a little bit biased in terms of taking Flyers and Rangers here. But I truly just like the chances and the how can you not bet on a new coach this year?
Facts.
After a change, you saw what happened with it for the Rangers. You saw what happened with the new coach.
Locker room issues last year too.
Oh God, I'm gonna get me started. But you saw what happened with the new coach last year. What worked, what didn't. try again. So I'm gonna bet on that. I'm just gonna bet on the change, bet on the smart office moves, and go with that. And the Flyers, all it really was defensive problems, which led to goalie problems and keeping pucks out of net from Carter Hart. What do? They fixed that. So why would that's common sense. If they fix the problem, why is it not going to go over and roll over?
It was a little scary game
effect?
1 though. I think Vancouver got like 4 passes, and it was like, oh, is it the same season again? But we got only Carter Hart had a game versus the Kraken had a game. So I'm interested to see the Fly Guys this year. I'm gonna try to follow them a little more than I usually do. I usually
we'll be going to some games and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that Bruins game that I went to was my first hockey game I went to, and I was like, dude, hockey is just like different in person. It's so much easier to follow, so much easier to understand. I'm trying to get to like 3-4 of them things.
Just fun, yeah, me too. We gotta get up to MSG too. It's just a fun. It's just all of it's just a great atmosphere. But that's all for today. Just a little preview of the NBA season starting tonight, October 19th. And our NHL predictions, just something light on that. Just had to shine some light on that, and we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that because our very first show together, the very second episode of this show, and we were officially together doing this, we did have a long chat about the Rangers, and we did have a long chat about hockey. So
about Tony P and the fucking Rangers.
Yep, about little Tony D'Angelo.
Fighting goalies, bullshit.
Jerk off.
Still scoring G's though.
Yes. God damn it. That dude's just something else. But we're able to shine some light back on the NHL, and this season's back here. And now that it's on ESPN, hopefully can kind of boost the ratings and boost the viewership from NHL, because it has, obviously most people know it has fallen off over the years. Follow us on the Twitter page. We got some updates on there, other pictures about everything that's going on. Maybe you'll see some tweets about the landing page that just went up there. For all our betting sites on there, at 80ED Podcast on Twitter. You'll probably get some updates coming in a few-ish weeks, maybe shorter on the days, I guess, on our plans for what's going on in the month of November. We got 2 trips lined up, so we will be announcing that. We have already done that before, but now we can officially do that for the new followers that are here. Instagram, a lot of pictures. We got this new camera, so we're going to have a lot cooler pictures on there as well. 80ED Pod on Instagram if you want to see that. And guys, the damn TikTok. We're doing some different content on there, okay? Different content that you will not see on Twitter and you will not see on Instagram. It's just the All Day Everyday Show on TikTok. We have to get to 1,000 to start going live. We want to go live on as many platforms as we can. And speaking of other platforms, Twitch, which we will be streaming more and more with this new streaming camera as well. It's just All Day Everyday Show on Twitch. Talk to me a little bit about the YouTube, sir.
Can't thank you enough. If you made it to the end of this video, please leave a thumbs up, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Trying to grow on YouTube. We've been around 160 for a little bit. Let's get a little bump. Get the notification bell on. 80% of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. I'm going to keep saying it. But we appreciate if you made it to the end of the video. Enjoy your week. It's the All Day Everyday Boys signing off.
Yeah, baby. You guys know what it is, all right? Stay great. Be great because you fucking are. It's the All Day Everyday Show. This is all we do. We just have fun. We love you, baby. It's the All Day Everyday Show, boys. And that's what you've been listening to on your Tuesday afternoon. My name is Alex Jacobs. That's the homie Manny Ruffin. You know what to do, boys. You can call me All Day AJ. See you later, boys. I love new cameras.